All right, so here are my first initial thoughts on Rogue One. I don't really do reviews for newer movies. I like to let them sit on my brain, you know, before I come to a conclusion. So you'll notice this episode isn't heavily edited. I'm kind of working on that Star Wars holiday special. I'm trying to get that up in time, but in all probability, that's going to be late. Sorry about that. I'm trying. I'm trying as hard as I can. I really am. Um, but so all my attention's there. So this one's not going to be, your regular standard episode. It's going to be more of a vlog. Uh, So I don't know. Maybe I'll occasionally cut to a cat or something to keep your attention. So quickly, my thoughts without getting into spoilers right away are mostly positive. I've got a few minor gripes and nitpicks, nothing major. Um, we'll get into that though when we get into spoilers. So Gareth Edwards directed this. I really liked Godzilla. I didn't love it though, so I was a little curious to see what he would bring to Star Wars, and I really dug his sense of scope and scale. Everything felt really enormous in this movie. The Death Star, especially. Like you see it in the original trilogy, and it looks like the Death Star, but for some reason it just looked way bigger in this film. I don't know. He's really good with scale because Godzilla felt huge in that movie, probably because he was huge. It was the biggest Godzilla we've ever had. Um, Donnie Yen and K2SO were some of the bigger standouts for me. Uh, Particularly K2SO. He had some really funny lines. I really liked his character. Um, Donnie Yen was really awesome in this movie. It's nice to see him land a like huge movie like Star Wars, because I'm used to seeing Donnie Yen in these bit parts in kung fu movies. So it was nice to see him, and he really does have a few moments of where he stands out and gets to display his martial arts talents, and that was awesome. Speaking of the characters, one of the gripes I had was that the characters weren't as memorable as say a Ray, Finn, or Poe. Um, but I guess the movie isn't really about the characters, so I don't. This is why I don't do reviews for movies right when they come out. I gotta collect my thoughts. So but that was one of the things I felt. The characters were forgettable. I don't really remember anyone's name off the top of my head, besides obviously Jin Urso, K2SO, and yep, that's it. So an, I really don't like the planet named Jedha. I think that's a little on the nose and stupid. Um, so that was another nitpick I had. Let's talk about Ben Mendelsohn as director Krennic, who chews the scenery in every scene that he's in, and it was great. I absolutely adored his performance. It was a little hammy, a little over the top. Um, and we get to see some of the imperial politics, which was nice because we didn't get much of that in the original trilogy. We definitely didn't get that in the prequels, but we got to see how the empire works and how it is like a kind of a kill or be killed, dog eat dog society, which was pretty nice. I would watch a whole movie about just some guy trying to make his ranks through the empire. But and the movie kind of really goes hand in hand with A New Hope. It felt like a companion piece to A New Hope. And that's really all I want to say without getting into spoilers. So, spoilers from here on out. All right, so one of the first things I want to talk about is all right, I wasn't aware of this, but apparently Peter Cushing's in the movie. Like, legit Peter Cushing. Like, they dug up his corpse, re-brought him back with the, Hollywood magic, and put him in this movie. The CGI for him looked like I keep saying this, but I really don't like doing movies reviews when they first come out because the CGI at first glance, at first view, it looked top notch. It looked really good. It looked like Peter Cushing was there. But maybe around the, I don't know, the 12th or 30th view, I will start to see, little inconsistencies in the face movements or something like that. I don't know. I'm not a predictor of the future or anything. Whatever. So, he looked good to be dead as shit. I love Peter, but he is dead as shit. He's about as dead as Grand Moff Tarkin. Some would say. I would say. So, but he looked good, and they used the same effect for Princess Leia later in the film. And I thought she looked a little bit better than the Peter Cushing, obviously, because she probably had like 2 to 5 seconds of footage, and they could have put a lot of time into that 2 to 5 seconds, whereas like Peter Cushing was walking around moving and stuff like that. So that was cool. I would like to see a Luke Skywalker movie post Return of the Jedi using that technology, or just grab Sebastian Stan, from Winter Soldier. But yeah, so yeah, I really dug that. Saw Gerrera, that voice though. Uh, what was that? It was weird, and that was a bad impression, but whatever. I literally laughed out loud when he was like, "Have you come to kill me?" Because that is like it's a really cliched line. That took me out for a bit because I've heard that line used so much, mostly in comedy or comedic bits now. So it's I don't know. Let's talk about Darth Vader. All right, when we first see Darth Vader, he's like chilling in this bacta tank, right? On Mustafar, it looks like. Was that Mustafar? I don't know. Somebody tell me in the comments if that was Mustafar. Uh, probably, in all honesty, it probably wasn't, but it did look like Mustafar, and it probably was. So let me know. Uh, his voice seemed a little off to me. It didn't. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. It just seemed weird, and it's probably because James Earl Jones is like 112 years old. So I don't know. It was just a little weird. It took me a while to get used to. His costume in a couple of shots looked a little Halloween costume to me. It didn't look like a giant full blown budget Hollywood costume. It looked like a little, $50 shopping cart type thing. I don't know. But I really dug his relationship with Krennic for that brief couple of scenes that they had. Uh, when did Vader turn into Arnold Schwarzenegger, giving off one-liners? He starts choking Krennic, and he's like, "Don't choke on your aspirations." I was like waiting for like an audience applause to come up in like studio audience. I don't know. So the big scene everybody's talking about is clearly where Vader kills like 4 hallways worth of dudes. Uh, that was pretty amazing. It was like a horror film almost, right? He's like levitating, slashing. Was he choking people? I don't know. I didn't catch all of it, but I know he just murdered a lot of people. And I'm sorry I keep bumping things around this goddamn computer desk, and you're probably hearing all of that. But anyway, so that was probably one of my favorite scenes in all of Star Wars ever. I felt absolutely terrified for those rebels. I wanted one of them to make it out. Just one, and none of them made it out. I guess somebody eventually made it out because, plans got delivered. But, it was, oh my God, I was on the edge of my seat. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the lack of a title crawl. If I was going to be upset, pissed off, if if it wouldn't even bother me. And it turned out to be the latter. Thankfully, it didn't bother me too much. It starts off the classic galaxy far, far away, and then boom, right into the action. And it kind of did feel a little natural. For me at least. I'm sure other people, felt different. What did take me out of it was the laughable title screen and the way the music cues up to Rogue One. And it's all like inspirational right after that dark and depressing as shit opening. I laughed a little bit. It was terrible. A lot of people are saying, iMovie quality, and yeah, it was. It was just bad. There are a lot of small bits of fan service, like the 2 thugs from the cantina, R2 and C-3PO. I think there was one of the ships from Rebels in here. I didn't catch all of it. I'll probably have to watch it multiple times to catch every fucking bit. But the couple bits I did catch were pretty awesome, especially the 2 thugs from the cantina in A New Hope. And I've got to say, I did not expect everyone to die. I kind of I knew they probably should die for A New Hope to work, because clearly these characters aren't kicking it around in A New Hope, and if they had stolen the Death Star plans, you would think you would want to have them around, come to destroying the Death Star. So I kind of, it made sense for them to be dead. I just didn't think Disney would have the balls to go through with that. So kudos to them for that, because oh my God, every single person died, and it was dark, and it was a little depressing, but there was that glimmer of hope. It was nice. It wrapped everything up nicely. This was a solid Star Wars film. I like it better than all of the prequels. I don't know if I would quite put it up there with Jedi and breaching the top three, but it's definitely up there with Force Awakens with me, which is number 4. Um, I may have liked this movie a little bit better than Force Awakens. I don't know if I've already said that, probably. But yeah, so this is my first initial thoughts. I'll probably do a full blown review way later down the road, if there's an interest. So, what did you guys think of Rogue One? Let me know in the comments. If you're going to use spoilers, please use spoiler tags. Unless you're from the future, in which case, spoil it away,